Hey, be kind to the lurkers, okay? Don't bullying the lurkers, even if they're mods. Listen, Lord knows I lurk in every single live stream I'm at, so, you know. I don't know what the video is about, but my gut feeling is that it's probably about the stuff that I said. Killers or people who commit crimes, who maybe they found like their social media stuff on YouTube or other platforms. In this case, it seems to be YouTube, so let's see. Look at the topics that it includes. So, viewer discretion is advised. So guys, if you guys find this, disturbing, feel free to click off the video now. I won't be offended.
It's December 4th, 2003.
Oh my god. Jesus Christ. I'm already spooked, dude. Look at this. Dude.
I'm gonna go try to get them to stop doing that.
A police officer walking in a local park in Arlington, Virginia, is approached by a concerned family, claiming that someone in a nearby neighborhood had been shooting off a flare gun. The officer could hear it too, and following the sound, he eventually found himself at the home of 56-year-old James Yoo. The man lived alone in his half of this duplex, and was described by neighbors as a recluse known to exhibit unusual behavior. Across his social media, he made posts claiming that he was the victim of fraud at the hands.
Okay, hold on. Let's read that real quick.
Across his social media,
so he said that James W. so that's him, the witch in Wayne County Supreme Court, State of New York, one motion hearing held at beginning, zero progress, zero scheduling of conference or discovery dismissals later.
Claiming that he was the victim of fraud at the hands of all sorts of government agencies, as he had a deep distrust of the US government as well as law enforcement, and he believed that numerous people were attempting to kill him.
By the way, if you guys missed this real quick, he apparently has done documentation regarding evidence that apparently the US government has produced racism and hate towards James Yoo. So he thinks that the US government is after him, right? So this guy is, and by the way, let's be real here. It's not like we don't have examples of the US government going after people, but like, this is, again, somebody who is in this mindset.
As well as law enforcement, and he believed that numerous people were attempting to kill him, like his ex-wife, the FBI, and even his neighbors. His posts seemed entirely nonsensical, and so did many of his actions. In the months prior, he had covered up all of his windows with garbage bags and aluminum foil, and he even wrapped his trees in toilet paper. And though these actions are entirely harmless, on this day, things were becoming far more troubling.
Yeah, but he's definitely like a tinfoil, like he's actually like the tinfoil conspiracy theorist, crazy, So this guy is not, he's not in a good mental state. Government just after all of us joined the club. Exactly. Oh my god.
When police arrived at his home, you would be seen firing his flare gun out of his window and into the air, over and over again.
By the way, you can kill people with that.
To get him to stop.
Arlington County Police! Stop shooting the flares! Mr. Yoo!
He didn't let up, shooting 41 flares in the span of just 25 minutes. And he did it all with no explanation. In fact, he didn't even say a single word. Understandably, police were eager to get Yoo out of his home for questioning, as at this point it wasn't obvious whether or not he was a threat. And so for hours and hours they called out to him, first asking and then demanding that he exit his home.
James.
What the hell?
Police, come to the front door with your hands up. Do it now. We have your building surrounded.
But still, there was no response. Growing impatient and worried that Yoo might be planning something, the police would eventually bring in a specialized vehicle to bust down the door and spray the inside of the home with gas.
Oh shoot! Guys, look! Can you guys see this on stream? Dude, they have the big battering ram ready to mess this guy up.
To draw you outside.
Oh shit!
James, stay away from your front door.
Oh.
Stay away from your front door.
Damn. They're taking the door down. Oh no.
Yoo began firing once again. Only this time, he wasn't using flares.
Oh no.
And instead, he was now yielding an actual gun. Thankfully, none of these shots connected, but with the situation becoming increasingly dangerous, the officers decided to fall back, as they carefully came up with a new plan for apprehending Yoo. though whatever they had been planning would never come to fruition.
Oh, he killed himself, didn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Either he killed himself or the police had to put him down. Dude, the entire house is gone. Oh no, this is way worse. Dude, he demolished his own house. He blew himself up so hard that the entire house came down. Oh my god. Dude, tell me the police at least survived. Oh, there's no way, dude. Expectations subverted, you can say it. Oh, dude, there's no way.
In a split second, the home was gone, as a massive explosion rang out from inside the house, reducing the entire structure to rubble. Inside the house, Yoo had stored 55 gallons of gasoline in his basement, which he saved for that moment to ignite with no warning
dude, look
and
at
no
this.
explanation. Based on the footage, it's been that moment
Dude,
inside the house.
look at
Yoo had
how
stored
big that
55
explosion is. Dude, the
gallons of
house blew
gasoline
up. It went to the side over here, right? But the explosion was so hard,
in
and
his
look at what happened to the
basement,
other
which he
side.
saved for that moment to ignite with no warning.
Bro, look at how big this explosion was. Dude, if this didn't like hit the neighboring houses, I would be so. First of all, I would be really glad that if it doesn't, but like, I would be shocked if this didn't damage like the neighbors as well.
And no explanation. Based on the footage, it's been theorized that Yoo's actions were an attempt to lure police into his home so that he could then set off this explosion and take them all out along with his neighbors, as he genuinely believed that both parties were conspiring to kill him.
Oh, right.
Though somehow, when the smoke cleared, no civilians or police officers had so much as been injured.
Thank
all
God.
that was found
Oh
in
my
the
God.
rubble was the remnants of a single body.
Oh
Though
my
for a moment,
God.
this wasn't the end of James Yoo's story. Before that body could be identified, reports
So the explosion being that big was actually not him being just crazy. Like he was actually trying to not only take out the police, but like also the neighbors that he was trying to that he had like a, you know, something against him. Oh my God, dude. This is what tinfoil maxing the swimman. Alex, dude, he's Alex Jones maxing. Not even, dude. Alex Jones, like like his worst crime is being a little bit loony. This guy. Oh my! I'm so thankful that nobody fought it, except this monster died.
across social media began emerging,
Oh
showing
my
that
God.
James Yoo was somehow still alive.
He's alive.
After the blast, comments were being made on what appeared to be Yoo's YouTube channel, where he stated that this whole thing was a cover-up and that he wasn't even inside the home when the standoff started, which, looking back, we never actually see him, and we also never hear his voice. Numerous posts pointing out this development would go viral and cause mass confusion about the story, which was only heightened
Whoa.
when it was revealed that the body inside that building was in fact James Yoo. Though in the end, it wasn't really as mysterious as some originally thought. As it turns out, the posts showing these comments failed to realize that this wasn't actually Yoo's account, and instead
it a
it had
fake
a
one?
completely different username, with the account likely having been created as nothing more than a hoax.
Oh,
To this-
so this is similar to what happened with Luigi's Mansion. the United Healthcare guy, the Luigi's Mangione or whatever, where somebody on YouTube made like a live stream and started to pretend to be him. Okay. Dude. Use gas for explosions, just diesel for burning. Fun backwards country fact of the day. Okay, hey, let's not give. Listen, I don't wanna have my stream put on an FBI watch list. Okay, the guy called anti-communist sympathizer is telling us the proper gasoline to use for what you want to do. Cool it, Castro. Cool it, okay.
To this day, though, there are some that still believe that this was all some sort of massive cover-up. But in reality, it just seems that this was the result of a man gripped
I mean,
by
you're my
crippling
Fed agent.
paranoia
Shut up.
and loneliness, with it all coming to a head in what has gone on to become one of YouTube's darkest videos.
Nick Crowley. Damn, dude, this guy's good. I usually can't handle like horror stuff, but this is not like horror. Like he has a super good editing style. Holy shit. Nick Crowley. Chapter 2. Dreamspace 2006 footage.
There was really nothing else like it.
Whoa.
This obscure 27,000 square foot structure allowed visitors to enter into what must have felt like another dimension. It was an exhibit called Dreamspace and was the creation of British artist Maurice Agus, a 74-year-old artistic visionary obsessed with the idea of creating large-scale surreal environments, and this was his magnum opus. The structure was inflatable, akin to a massive bounce house, and once inside, guests were confronted with a labyrinth of brightly colored walls and cells, twisting and turning into some sort of surreal maze that patrons were told to lose themselves in. This piece of art premiered back in 2004, and due to its inflatability, it was actually built to travel, making stops in major cities in the UK, before it was eventually set up at Riverside Park in Durham.
I'm guessing that what happens is that somebody got lost in here, and they deflated the thing to see if they could find them. And then maybe they didn't, they weren't able to find it, to find the person who got lost. That's my theory for this one.
On the 22nd of June, 2006. The very next day, 68-year-old Elizabeth Collins would visit the area with her husband and her daughter, as well as her—
Oh no, it's an old lady. Dang. I thought like maybe a kid would get lost and maybe like they would have to like look for the cat. Oh no.
14-year-old grandson. And spotting this unusual structure in the distance, Elizabeth's grandson insisted on checking it out, excitedly taking off his shoes and running inside. And while the rest of the group was more apprehensive about entering, Elizabeth eventually decided to accompany him, leaving her husband and daughter on the outside.
Yeah, I would be
though not before
apprehensive
turning
too.
back to them and joking that she was going in to find peace and serenity. Outside, Elizabeth's husband and daughter sat at a nearby table and enjoyed a cup of tea whilst conversing about the events of the week, only for the man to turn his head and notice that Dreamspace was slightly moving, to which he excitedly said, "Oh, it's a ride, it's a ride.
Oh no.
I wish I had gone on it." The daughter then turned her head to see the structure as it began to rise up off the ground, to which she chillingly responded,
Oh no, the wind.
"It's not a ride."
Was it the wind? Dude, I love these plot twists. Every time I've been wrong on these. Oh, you can see the trees moving a lot in the background over here on the top. Oh no, oh no. What the hell? Oh, and there's people inside. Dude. Oh, it started rolling? What? How?
In that moment, Dreamspace had snapped from its moorings and was blown into the air by a massive gust of wind.
Yeah, you could
Agus
see
just so
the
happened to
trees
be
in the
standing
background.
at the entrance as it began to shift, and noticing what was happening, he grabbed on as he desperately tried to hold down his entire life's work, though clearly this was of no use. And after being lifted in the air, his grip failed, sending him
no.
falling back to the ground below, where he lay staring up at his creation that was now flying 30 feet above him.
Dude, that... Look at how small the people are. Look at, like you can see how small the people are compared to this thing. Oh, dude. Wait, is it getting deflated now?
Inside, there were as many as 30 people who were now being thrashed around this giant inflatable structure in a scene that I truly can't even imagine. The claustrophobia of it, the dizzying colors, the screams. It's genuinely one of the most horrific scenarios I've ever heard.
Wow.
The inflatable structure was airborne for well over a minute, folding into itself before finally crashing back down into a parking lot, leaving behind what was described by witnesses as a field of bodies. Worst of all, the majority of those in attendance were families with small children, with one 7-year-old girl recounting her experience, saying, "It was very scary and people were screaming. I saw a lady clinging on and then falling out, and then she was
Dude.
lying on her back with people around her. I think she died." This lady was most likely 68-year-old Elizabeth Collins, who had been
Jesus
ejected from
Christ.
the structure when it was in the air, with her injuries being catastrophic and unsurvivable.
Oh
Of
my
all the
god.
others now sprawled throughout this field of grass, most were
So in that video that we just saw, there's probably a pixel where we actually saw the lady get launched. This is horrific. I work with inflatable castles and it's very easy for things to fly away even with people and motors attached. Dude, the thing I love so much about this series right now is the fact that every time you think like you know what's about to happen, something completely unexpected happens. Dude, this guy, his content is amazing. Holy hell. This reminds me of how Florida had the sudden problem of river otters attacking people. This seemed like something your brain just can't believe it's happening. Dude, like that's the thing. Like I always assumed the castles and such were anchored down. That's a thing though. I'm pretty sure it was. This type of stuff is actually I've seen them. And when you go to like, you know, fairs and like theme parks or whatever, like you can see the anchoring of these things. So this must have been a catastrophic failure from part of the people who planned this event. But like, but at the same time, in their defense, I wonder if they just didn't think that the gust of wind could get that bad, because like if you go back on the video and okay, so we're now 11:03. If we go back to this part of the video, so you can see like look at the trees in this part of the video. Look at how the top of the trees are moving from left to right. And how aggressive it gets suddenly. See, like it's happening, starts to move, and then like the trees start bending a lot. So like these gusts of wind were super strong, you know. Like this wasn't like just your average, you know, gust of wind. This was actually super strong because the trees on like you could see the tree line and how much they were shaking. So like, you know, they probably didn't expect for this to happen.
Were left injured, but thankfully not in serious condition. Though this wasn't the case for 38-year-old Claire Fromage, who had been inside during the accident with her 2 children.
Oh no.
And despite her kids surviving, she was sadly not so lucky.
Oh
with
my
Claire and
God.
Elizabeth being the sole fatalities of the incident. The video is terrifying, and though it's easy to say that this could have been so much worse, considering how many people were in Dreamspace at the time, the consequences were still catastrophic.
Yeah.
As it devastated 2 families, and likely left many others at the scene traumatized for life, especially the young children.
And by the way, like when something that big, even if it's just like inflatable air rubber like type, you know, I don't even know what you would call this. That thing, when it's that heavy and you have like that much air crushing you, that hurts. And I mean, obviously it can kill you, right? I mean, 2 people died, right? So like, it's, oh, dude, wow.
But how could this have happened? Well,
I
that
feel
day
for the
was
children,
particularly
dude.
warm, which likely caused the air inside.
Imagine going to a bouncy castle and by the end of that bouncy castle trip with your family, your mom dies. This is why every day I thank, you know, the powers that be that I've had such a tranquil, you know, overall uneventful life in a lot of ways. Because in what world do you think, oh yeah, I'm gonna enter like a bouncy castle that's kind of like an art exhibition? Oh yeah, my mom's gonna die by the end of it. Like, in what world does that even go through your? You know what I mean? Like, it's such
the
a
structure to expand,
freak
causing a
accident.
hot air balloon-like effect, which was then exacerbated by sudden strong gusts of wind, which eventually caused the structure to go airborne. As in the end, it just
Wow.
wasn't properly secured for the conditions.
That's
Soon
heartbreaking.
after the incident, Maurice Agus was arrested for manslaughter, though he would ultimately only end up paying a small fine, as he vowed to never create a large work again. Just a few years later, in 2009, Maurice Agus would pass away, with his legacy forever being defined by this devastating footage.
Yeah, I don't think, I don't know how much I would put the blame on him, just because for this type of product to be produced, usually you need like an entire group of people around you to produce an event like this. So even though, yes, it was his idea, the reality is that I have so many questions about the production side of this and how they, you know, planned all this out. It's such a unique thing because it's supposed to be like an art exhibition sort of. But like who has done something like this ever before, you know? So it's hard to say like whose fault is it really?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Serena.
I
On
don't like
October
this.
2nd, 2006, police entered the home of 31-year-old Elaine Campione, where inside they found the woman speaking incoherently. Next to her was a VHS camera, depicting a series of disturbing events that had transpired within the home over the previous months and days, with the footage eventually finding its way onto YouTube.
Hi, Serena. It's August 8th, 2006. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to
Aw.
you.
The tape starts with Elaine pointing her new camera at her daughter Serena. It was her 3rd birthday, and to celebrate, Elaine had left a brand new bike in the living room.
Aw.
What is it?
She's so adorable. Dude, I hope nobody dies
Days
from
later, the
this.
footage continues, showing Serena once again as Elaine asks,
How does Mama love you?
This much.
Oh, I love you more than that. How much does Mama love you?
Elaine then shows her other daughter, Sophia, who was just a baby, before turning the camera on herself and showing the kids how the device worked.
Hi! See how the camcorder works? Look.
Yeah, it's a farmer.
Look. Hi!
Something tells me she's gonna have a seizure or something.
Hi.
So far, the footage seems like nothing more than your standard family home videotape, and appears completely wholesome.
Oh my
Though
God.
with the next recording, the tone begins to shift, and things start to become slightly concerning.
This is a deplorable, horrible, messy, filthy apartment that supposedly my 2 children and I live in, and it's just a horrible, horrible mess. Yeah.
If she thinks this is, I'm sorry, I don't want to make a joke about this, but if she thinks this is a horrible, horrible mess, she hasn't seen my office, okay? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know this is dark and I shouldn't be joking about it, but like, if this is a horrible mess, you don't want to see my office right now, okay, dude? when I get back home, I have to clean it, man. This is bad.
Diego Campione is totally in the wrong, and I hope he burns in hell for all his sins, the same as Leonardo.
As Elaine
Diego
shows the camera her
Campione.
home, she begins joking about how they are living in deplorable conditions, before randomly calling out 2 men who she says she hopes burn in hell,
But, like-
all while her children are in the same room. She starts to grow more and more agitated.
All I wanted to do was take care of my 2 little girls and live happily ever after the 3 years of physical, emotional, and mental abuse that I endured tremendously by Leonardo Campione, and then the past year from Anna and Diego Campione, the mental and emotional
Oh, no.
abuse.
Outright saying that she was abused by a man named Leonard Campione, who happened to be her ex-husband and the father of these children. And she goes on from there, with each moment clearly making the kids more and more anxious.
And I want justice.
They showed the picture of her ex-husband clearly talking to some reporter. Something tells me this woman is dead. Oh my God.
Family for what they have all done to us. I cried out for help. They should have charged him for the assaults he did to me.
Eventually causing Elaine to snap out of it and stop the camera.
And my poor 3-year-old, I did everything to protect. And what are you saying, Sophia?
I
What do
think
you
this
want?
mom's cheese has slid off her cracker. I mean, she's an abuse victim, apparently. No wonder. Dude, when you're an abuse victim and you have no one to support you, dude, it's a very lonely experience, especially if the abuser was your ex-husband. That is a very, very lonely place to be in, especially when you have to take care of 2 kids, you know?
The video then skips forward once more, with this footage being taken just days before the police were called, showing Serena coloring on the floor as Elaine asks,
Who loves ya?
Mommy.
Who loves you the most? That much? Oh, I think I love you more than that.
The scene that unfolds next was recorded on that very same night,
Oh no.
just hours later.
Dude, no, come on.
Recording this because Leo there. Are you happy? Everything's gone. Gone. You wouldn't give peace. You wouldn't tell the truth. You didn't care about our babies. You didn't care about me. You cared about yourself. All you did was hurt us.
In the video, Elaine states that everything is gone, as she speaks to Leo directly, accusing him of having ruined their lives with his constant abuse.
You are truly the devil. And I hate you. 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 And I want you to know how much I hate you.
Disturbingly, the children were nowhere to be seen in this footage, with Elaine eventually addressing them by
I
saying,
think-
God believes me. And God's taking care of them now.
Oh no.
They're protected by God. Thank God. Thank Him. Because there's no way I could have them with you. Nothing's good enough for you. It has to always be your way. Well,
You know how I've been wrong in every single part so far in this video? I hope I'm wrong here. I hope she's not dead.
good. And you can have it your way. Your wife and your daughters are dead now. We're all in heaven.
Oh my God, did she kill herself and her daughters?
according
Oh my
to
God,
Elaine,
please no.
not only were her children gone, but
Please
she was
no.
too. She stops the recording soon after. Despite saying this, the camera would actually start up one more time, where Elaine describes how she was still alive despite having attempted to OD, which prompted her to call the police. When officers arrived at the home, both Serena and Sophia were found laying in her mother's bed, holding hands, and wrapped tightly in rosaries. Neither of them were alive. 2 nights prior, and directly before filming this message, Elaine had brought them both into the bathroom as it was time for their nightly baths. And once in the tub, she told them to play a game, one where they would place their heads beneath the water and blow out bubbles. When they did this, Elaine held their heads down, and she didn't let go until she was certain they were gone.
This fucking bitch. This fucking bitch, dude. This fucking bitch. This fucking cunt. Never mind. I hope she's dead. I'm sorry. Dude. This fucking bitch. I'm tearing up now. Dude, I'm tearing up too. If those kids had nothing to do with your fucking divorce with your husband, dude, this fucking cunt. Oh my god, dude.
This footage is some of the most disturbing that I've ever seen, as we get a glimpse into Elaine's descent into madness, in the moments directly before she stole her children's lives. But all of this leaves one obvious question.
Why did she do it? Yeah.
Well, it was noted during her investigation that the abuse she alleged from her ex-husband Leo seemed to be very real and well documented over the years, leading to Leo not being able to see his children for over a year, with this causing the two to separate, which is when Elaine's mind began to deteriorate. She began believing that people were following her and were going to kill her, with this fear of people eventually shifting to a fear of aliens, as she claimed to have seen them on numerous occasions, believing they were following her. Because of this fear, she refused to let her children out of her sight, not even allowing her own parents to look after them, causing her to be—
I'll say this, and this is coming from personal experience. I'm not gonna go too deep into it, but I still hate this bitch for what she did. I hate her. However, we can't— oh god, sorry, I teared up a little bit. There's a very important fact there, where Nick is reporting that, you know, the husband was definitely an abusive person to the point where he couldn't see his kids. It drove her insane, right? So on one hand, I'm not sure if I would say, I'm not sure if I would go as so far as to say that he is responsible for like what Elaine did, right? But I've seen situations where single moms go crazy because of situations similar to this, where they're abused, nobody gives a fuck about them, and what ends up happening is that the single mom goes crazy and then ends up doing something like this, right? But the thing is, here's what I want to stress. She is definitely the most at fault here, because there's always healthier ways to cope with situations like this, okay? And even if you want to do something as crazy as, you know, take your own life or whatever, you don't take the lives of innocent babies, like what she did, you know? No matter how much you're abused. Like, this is, on one hand, he's definitely a monster, but on the other hand, they had nothing to do with the abuse that he lunged at you and her children, right? So why are you taking your kids' chance at life because you want to get back at your ex, you know? Dude, it's such a fucked up situation from every single angle. It's insane. And I think somebody said it pretty well in chat, like, bad people can still be victims, but like at the end of the day, the person who actually committed the act was still hurt, right? So like we have to be like we have to, if we're gonna like push the blame on someone, like I think it's like everybody has like a little bit of blame in this situation, but like I still think the biggest, you know, culprit is still Elaine, because this is a monstrous thing to do.
Become so attached to these children that she genuinely began to believe that they were all one entity,
oh, shit,
which made things
up.
incredibly
Dude,
concerning when she became suicidal and eventually attempted to take her own life. Despite Leo's more than troubled history,
I blame the
he had
aliens.
supposedly turned
Shut up. Dude, don't make me laugh.
his life around in the years
This is
leading to this
serious, okay?
footage, and was eventually allowed to start visiting the children on a limited capacity. And seeing the children and seeing the way their mother was behaving, he began to grow incredibly concerned, and eventually attempted to gain full custody. And it was this bitter custody battle that seemed to be the ultimate factor that led to Elaine ending the lives of her children.
Dude, no custody battle is worth this. I'm sorry.
My God, thank God. Thank you. Because there's no way I could have them with you.
Elaine Campione would be charged with 2 counts of murder and would eventually be sentenced to life in prison, with a possibility of parole after 25 years.
No,
Today,
no,
she's
no.
held in a minimum
Dude, don't give her parole. Don't give her parole. She's a vindictive bitch. Don't give her parole. She doesn't
security
deserve it.
prison, where she's free to leave once every
She does
weekend
not
to
deserve
attend
it.
church and other functions.
Interesting. So there's more information about that court case that we can read on later. I'll link it on the Discord. Gavin Collins Road Rage, Chapter 4.
On April 18th, 2010, a 39-year-old man named Gavin Collins was released from the HMP Ranby prison in the UK. His freedom would last less than 24 hours, as the very next day he suffered a severe mental breakdown, the result of which was captured partially across several video
Yeah, and in no way does she deserve parole. She doesn't deserve it. Like, what? Why? Actually, why? That one. She killed 2 people. Not only 2 people, her kids. Her children.
recordings that later appeared on YouTube. This is the story of his rampage. It began at approximately 9 a.m. in the city of Nottinghamshire when Gavin left his home. As he walked down the sidewalk, those in the area reported him acting strangely, muttering to himself that he was Jesus and that he was invincible. Without warning, he then turned his attention to a random home, which he forcefully entered, stole a man's car keys, and took his vehicle, taking off with no apparent destination. Inside the car, the owner just so happened to have 2 cameras, one being a standard dash cam and the other facing inside the vehicle, giving us a look at Gavin
dude, he
and
has
his apparent mental state.
Dude, he has the unhinged eyes. Look at this. He looks unhinged.
This is me. Jesus Christ! I'll show you how good a eyesight I've got. Hey, don't eat this. Come on, let's go, bro. So, get rid of all the crap hairs. Let's go.
By the way, this is me when I'm playing Gran Turismo 7 ranked mode. When I'm playing sport mode in Gran Turismo 7, this is me. Actually, this is actually me. Balding and everything, okay? Listen, this actually me. Me IRL.
Let's go.
Just at a glance, it's obvious that Gavin is completely unhinged. For some reason, he was utterly
sorry.
filled with rage, ripping off the rearview mirror and yelling obscenities and incomprehensible threats at no one in particular.
I'm enraged. I'm Jesus. I'm descendant of God. And you lock me up. Watch this. You.
Me.
And most concerning of all is
Actually,
the speed in
me.
which he's traveling, as he starts driving faster and faster, swerving in and out of cars as he passes through a busy residential area.
Listen, I'm joking, okay? But like, guys, please don't do this.
As he reaches speeds that have been estimated to be anywhere from 85 miles an hour to well over 120.
Dude, look at how quick stuff is passing through him. Like, this is a really small road. Like, look at how quick stuff is going past him.
And stronger by the second.
But somehow, despite countless close calls,
Jesus.
every time he avoids collision. At least for the time being.
This guy's dead. There's no way he'd survive.
In an instant, Gavin smashes the vehicle into a brick
Oh.
home at full speed, with the impact being devastating. And yet somehow, through the destruction, Gavin was not only still alive, but completely unharmed, and also completely unfazed. He pulled himself from the wreckage and immediately turned his attention to a woman driving nearby, and within
Oh, so now he's Andrew Tate maxing. He sees a woman driving. Wait, no, wait, hold on. This bitch is actually driving now? No. Can't have that. I'm sorry.
moments he had forced his way into the vehicle and was behind the wheel once again, continuing this deranged driving spree until once again he crashed. And much like the initial collision, he survived, walking away unscathed before turning his attention to another random home. In pursuit of stealing his 3rd vehicle, he grabbed a nearby concrete slab and began to smash through the home's doors, bloodying his hand in the process.
Oh my God.
Before eventually making entry. Inside were a mother and her 2 children,
No.
one of which was 5 years old,
No.
and the other wasn't even a year.
Dude,
Gavin
I was-
approached the terrified family, yelling and demanding that the mother give up her car keys, telling her that he was Jesus and that, "Because I am Jesus, I will kill you if you don't give me the keys." And without hesitation, she did as he said.
Oh my
Gavin
God.
then went to each member of the family and with
Guys, I was joking about the Andrew Tate maxing joke, okay? I guess they're both bald. They both kind of, oh my God, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
His injured hand, he drew crosses on their forehead, out of his own blood,
Oh.
before taking off with his third stolen car.
What the fuck? Oh, dude. And it's an Econo shitbox too. What a idiot.
Once again, Gavin was driving manically, though this time he was even more reckless, crashing into a brick wall
Oh my
and then a
God.
cop car, before setting his sights on a pedestrian. While speeding through a neighborhood, Gavin would see a man standing innocently near a bus stop, and for whatever
George Flo said, "This is the result of the Hustlers University."
reason, the sight of this man enraged him, causing Gavin to slam on the brakes and reverse the vehicle, stepping on the gas as hard as he could, and crashing directly into him, leaving him lying there with devastating injuries.
Oh my god.
Gavin quickly exited the vehicle and found the man lying motionless on the ground, prompting him to shout, "I've killed him. I've killed the devil."
Oh my god.
Minutes later, Gavin would crash yet another car into yet another home, though this time the police weren't far behind.
Wait, is he beating someone up?
This way. I'll get him out. I'll get him out.
What the hell, dude? Oh, there's smoke coming out and everything. He's
Finally
alive.
bringing his disturbed driving spree to an end. The man
Dude,
that
this
Gavin had
monster's
struck was
alive.
87-year-old Terry Radford, a retired teacher whose injuries were catastrophic, with the man passing away soon after. According to his family, Terry was an incredible grandfather, father, and son. The footage is genuinely horrifying, but what's most shocking of all is the fact that any of this was even allowed to happen. As stated previously, this was Gavin's very first day out of prison, and based on the behavior he exhibited whilst in prison, he really should have never been released. Gavin was granted an early release in March of 2019 for charges based around burglary, but just as he was set to be freed, it was discovered that he had submitted an adulterated drug test, which caused his
Wait,
case to be
wait.
re-examined and resulted in his release being postponed.
So hold on. The only crime he had committed to this point was burglary? What were the previous charges? Yeah, apparently it was burglary. He looks more and more deranged with each new camera footage, yeah. The Grand Tour Crack and Meth Special. The Grand Tour. The Crack and Meth Special. This is the secret series finale we never got, huh? Fucked up.
In response, Gavin lost his mind. Later that month, he assaulted a prison guard before spraying him with an unknown liquid that contained bleach, before
Oh.
proceeding to set his cell on fire and attacking another officer with a piece of wood.
What?
Due to his actions, Gavin was placed into an isolated cell, where less than a week later, he started yet another fire, and when an officer entered his cell to put it out, Gavin struck them in the head and pulled out a plastic knife, threatening to slash him, stating that it would be a thrill to kill him.
Okay, so let's be clear here. The British jail system isn't that much better than the American one, because this guy was doing all this stuff in prison and they thought, yes, let's put him outside. Yes. Not only let's release him, let's release him early. Let's see what happens. Fuck it, we ball.
Gavin's stay in prison clearly hadn't rehabilitated him. In fact, it seemed to have made him more violent than ever before, and more mentally disturbed. Though shockingly, despite all of these additional crimes, Collins' release would go on to be approved less than 2 weeks later, with Gavin being set free on April 18th, and within just 24 hours, Terry Radford would be brutally killed. Gavin was sentenced to 21 years in prison, and during his trial it was revealed that no drugs were found in his system, and instead this all seemed to be the result of some sort of psychotic episode that just so happened to be captured on camera in one of YouTube's darkest videos.
Oh my god. Dude, that last one. Why? I mean, I guess it's funny because you always hear of this type of stuff happening in the US, but that happens everywhere, huh? The mental health issue is not a US-centric thing. Like everywhere in the world, like this type of stuff is happening. The fact that he was let out of prison after showcasing all of that, I feel like every single modern, quote-unquote civilized society has an issue with this. Like a real issue, and nobody wants to talk about it. A lot of times when something like this happens, that some people will argue to, for example, whenever a mass shooting happens in the US, a lot of people argue for more gun control or removal of guns. And then there's another side that goes ahead and argues that no, the actual problem is mental health issues and whatnot. But like the problem is not, it's not like one thing or another. Like usually when a failure of that magnitude happens, it's because the system failed in ways that you can't just boil down to into one topic or one specific issue. And like I think that's what kind of bothers me about whenever this topic comes up, because this is a problem that we need to tackle in a bunch of different fronts, because it's not just like one thing that's causing it. There's like a bunch of, failures. Some are smaller than others, some are bigger than others, but like all of those, systematic failures from our current, quote unquote modern societies is what causes this type of stuff to happen. Because if you're a cop in the UK, right, and you see the crazy stuff that this guy has done, why don't you have the power to say, listen, this guy did this, this, and this? I don't care if theoretically he's done, enough stuff to get, good boy points. He is a danger to, not only the people inside the jail, but to, your fellow human, right? Like a teacher, a grandfather lost his life because of the absolute, like, who decided to release him like this? Each country has its own flaws and failures, correct, yeah. The response to this situation are mediocre at best. There's a reason why there's the letter of the law and the spirit of the law. Yeah. Guy, dude, Nick, Crowley, listen, I can't do horror usually, but this video was super interesting. He has an insane editing style. He's a great storyteller, but it's a very well done video that is very, I'm gonna use the word, it's tastefully done, in the sense that like obviously like the topics he's talking about are horrific, but he does it in a way where it doesn't feel like he's glorifying this. A lot of time, one of the biggest issues I have with like this type of content on YouTube and why I don't watch real true crime type stuff is because this type of content tends to get glorified, and I hate that. I like the fact that Nick doesn't seem to be doing that. He's actually, presenting it in a way that, like, listen, obviously we are watching stuff that kind of taps into like our morbid curiosity of these situations. If there was a respectful way to do this type of content, this is probably the way to do it. So yeah, thank you so much for this. This was amazing. I love this. I'm a fan. I'm a new fan of this guy.